Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection for our servicemen and women throughout the world and for those who have passed away in our community, especially Tim Calpin, and Linda Giorgetti. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Present.
Mr. Schuster?
Present.
Dr. Rothchild?
Here.
Mr. McAndrew? Mr. Smurl?
Here. Dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Third order, 3A, Controller's Report for month ending August 31st, 2025.
Are there any comments on any of the third order items? If not, received and filed. Do any council members have any announcements at this time?
Yes, I have one announcement. I'd like to thank the ARC of Scranton. I received their thank you card. I had the pleasure last week to tour their facility, explore some of the programs over there and what they offer to some clients and family in the area. I also got to go to a great event on Sunday up at the Waldorf, their Family Fall Festival, where they fundraise for their clients. It's something I've attended in the past, and it's for a good cause. So I'd just like to thank those members of the ARC.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Anyone else?
Yes, I have a few. First, just want to remind people that this Saturday over at Nayak Park, they are having a Jim Connors Day in honor of him with music playing all day from 1 p.m., I think, up until 6 p.m., along with some activities for children and families. And also happening this weekend is going to be the West Scranton Fall Festival that NeighborWorks has been doing every year. And they split it up into 2 days today, or 2 days this year. They used to do it all in one day, but Friday night over at Allen Park from 6 to 9, they're going to be having live music, fire pits, s'mores, and then on Saturday at Clover Fields, they'll have their usual event there. That's from 12 to 4, and just a ton of things for kids, activities, bounce houses, just a lot that they do over there in the field. So if anyone's able to attend, I didn't look at the weather, but they do have a rain date of September 27th in the event that it's raining. And not sure if it was mentioned yet here, but the Junior League of Scranton does a Touch a Truck event each year, and that's going to be happening Saturday, September 27th from 11 to 3 at NAOC. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rothschild. Anyone else? If not, Mr. Voldenberg.
Fourth order, citizen participation.
First, Joan Holowanis.
Joan Hodawana, Scranton. Congratulations on your new carpeting. I guess that explains why the American flag is there instead of over there. So when you pledge allegiance, you'll have to turn that way. One of the announcements I was hoping you would make, but you didn't, so I will. Friday, September 19th, is the annual POW MIA Recognition Day. It is a day on which we as a nation recognize the 81,000 service members who are still missing and have not returned home. By the grace of God, we were able to lay to rest Jerry Mullaney just the other week after 81 years. So our Recognition Day will be celebrated on Friday, September 19th at 4 p.m. at the Scranton Veterans Memorial Park down by the high school. I hope everybody who has the free time will come down and participate. Any applicants for Director of DPW?
I don't know of any.
Okie dokie. And we're still progressing on the collective bargaining agreement for DPW. It's been almost 10 months since their contract ran out.
Nothing yet?
Okay. I noticed that in the controller's report, Mr. Ufberg got another $40,500. He does these negotiations. And 2 weeks from today is September 30th. We're going to have the audit in hand for 2024, right?
I certainly hope so.
Okay, from your lips to God's ears, we'll be watching. The ordinance, I believe it's 6B, reading by title, the Civil Service Commission exemption for for the entry positions for the police. I did check on the Civil Service Commission and saw in their agenda for September that it was on the agenda, so they are aware of it. There were no minutes for that meeting yet published. Do you know if they sought any opinion or comments from the police union?
That I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll check on that tomorrow because we have all the pension boards tomorrow. I'm still, not clear on the concept of, how the police chief makes the final selection of all these applicants in a non-competitive manner. I understand that the Civil Service Commission creates this alternate list, but the final selection, I think, is done by the police chief. And while I have all the confidence in the world in our current police chief, you know that he might get run over by a fire truck tonight, and then we'll get somebody in there, and you never know how that guy's going to work out. We have a long history of great mayors, and then along came Bill Courtwright. So it's possible, that's why I keep, mentioning, this thing will need some oversight while we're doing this, because we can lose track of it, and we don't want to see this devolve into a good old boy network. I know that we need qualified people. I know that we don't want to deal with staffing shortages, and, that's the way we should go. But still, because we're taking exception to the way the Civil Service Commission was designed to operate, I think this is something that we should be keeping a watchful eye on, lest something go astray. And we don't want that to happen, because our police department's really good for whatever numbers we have. And I don't want to see that be tainted with any kind of questionable hiring practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Norma Jeffries?
Good evening, Council. Norma Jeffries, a Scranton resident. And I wanted to start tonight in thanking Dr. Rothchild for mentioning last week that the planned food drive that we were going to have at the park on the last Saturday weekend of September, and afterwards the Toucher Truck is going to have a food drive that day. So there's a conflict, so I had to postpone it, and we'll have to come up with a different date, and as soon as that date is finalized, I will be announcing it again. But I got several text messages about the food drive, so I thought I'd mention it again to say just hang on to those food items that you've purchased. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about was the visibility of the high visibility stop signs that they have been installed in this city. And that was very interesting to see that the city is moving forward in trying to make our pedestrians and our drivers more safe as we go through the streets of Scranton. So as I read the entire article that was there, in the article, the mayor said that the stop sign initiative is part of her efforts to improve driver and pedestrian safety throughout Scranton. Under her tenure, more than 4,500 faded or damaged street signs and stop signs throughout the city have been replaced. It was great to read this information. As you know, I've been talking about the stop signs for 6 years, and it was good to see that there was 4,500 have been replaced. When I had gone to DPW 6 years ago, there was 9,000 street signs in the city of Scranton that needed to be addressed. So at this rate, I guess we'll be finished in another 6 years. But I'm hoping that one day I can just stand here and say, just thank the city and thank everyone that was involved and as to getting those street signs and up and just an improvement, because I still continue to get lost in that, especially in South Side, between Birch Street, Beach Street, Parrot Street, all those fruit streets, and you get a little bit, at least I get confused. So I also wanted to mention, I wasn't sure if Susie was going to be here tonight, but as Dr. Rothchild mentioned about the Jimmy Connors Day is Saturday, and we're just encouraging everyone to come out and enjoy the festivities of that day. And there's all kinds of activities, including kids' activities, and it's going to run, I think the last band comes up at 5 o'clock, which will run until probably about 6. So there's lots of live music that day, and according to the weather report, we should have a great day, and the weather should be just about perfect for being outside. And another activity that's going on in the park on Saturday is on the other side of the park. There's the Bhutanese celebration is going on there, and it's always good to take advantage of those types of activities at the park, not only at the park, wherever they are, because it's always good to find out about other cultures and other ethnicities that are out there, because we're all Americans. We're all part of building the melting pot of Scranton and of the United States. So there's activities and there's food that'll be available, and their hours are 10 to 4. So I'm just hoping that, that everyone will get out and enjoy that day, and for both the activities that are going on in Scranton at the park on Saturday. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have our activity will be the Sunday concerts, which run from 2 to 4, and that'll be on Sunday as well. And another activity that's there for all of the citizens of Scranton to take advantage of. Thank you. I've got a few more seconds, and Mr. Smurl, last week you mentioned about the sidewalks, and that the ordinance said that there's no ordinance that says that you have to have a sidewalk. But what about the repair of the sidewalks once they're in? Is there an ordinance that says that once you have a sidewalk, that it should be in good repair?
Once the sidewalks are in, you're liable to keep them up. And you need, it said, a path to the front door. So, and that's all it says. But once they're installed, you need to maintain.
Okay, so do I report that, or is that code enforcement, or how do we
Of bad sidewalks, I would probably Scranton 311 and to code enforcement. They would be the ones that would do that citation.
Okay, that was my question about that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Norma. Angela Ramon?
Hello, it's good to see everybody again. I just want to make sure you can hear me first. I'm not going to be commenting on any of these seventh order items because I commented on all of those last week. But I will be speaking a bit on some of the fifth and sixth order items here, mainly to do with the grant the city wants to pursue for the bike lane project that would connect downtown to the Lackawanna Heritage Trail as well as the Ironworks for about like 6 miles of bike lanes in our city through our downtown. And specifically, I'd like to contextualize that cost with one of the other agenda items tonight, which would be the elevator repair for one of our parking garages downtown, where the city is pursuing $153,000. The 6 miles of bike lanes that the city is seeking grant for is only about 2/3 the cost of the elevator repair that they're also requesting, and it would greatly enhance the ability of both Scranton residents and visitors to Scranton to get around our city to like see the beauty and the opportunities here, and also, of course, spending money downtown. And I do know that there's been many comments, especially over the past few months, regarding cyclists in the street and conflicts with drivers. And as much as I would love to say that like we can just like swing a wand around and make everything perfect, that's not going to happen. We have very little bike infrastructure within the city of Scranton, and in spite of that, getting around on bikes has become increasingly popular over the years for a number of different reasons, both with the low cost of cycling, the convenience of using e-bikes, especially in hilly areas, and the low cost relative to driving, that for many people they found it suitable to even replace their vehicles. But my point is, bikes aren't going away, and we do need to make sure that we're being responsible in finding a way for people who are getting around on bikes to share the road responsibly with drivers. And putting bike lanes in our city is just one of the few things we can do to address that. Because there's many people who get to work on bikes, there's many people who commute to school on bikes, there's people who run errands on bikes, go out for entertainment using bikes, and we want to make sure that we're not needlessly allowing hazards and conflicts to continue to exist in our city. So that's all I have to say on the bike lanes, but similar notes for item 5H. That would be the proposed crosswalks over on Davis Street. I'm not sure if anyone here has used these styles of crosswalks, where they have the usually brick crosswalks that have active signals that'll flash whenever a pedestrian hits a button. I've used them in many different places, not just at the University of Scranton or even in Scranton. There's places like Oliphant that have them in their downtown. And in my experience as someone who's like generally able-bodied and able to get around easily, I found it much, much safer, especially at night, trying to cross busy streets with those types of signals. Because when we rely solely on the standard pedestrian crossings that we see at signalized intersections, drivers are often looking up, like all the way up at the lights, to see if they need to stop or go, and that draws their attention away from the pedestrians at the corners waiting to cross. But these specific styles of crosswalks are relatively affordable to build, and they are incredibly safe. And especially with a busy street like Davis Street, we want to make sure that people aren't going to be getting hit by cars consistently. So that's about all I have for tonight. Like I said, I'm in support of the previous things I've talked about in seventh order, and I do believe it would be in the best interest of the city to let the city of Scranton pursue grants for bike lanes and for crosswalk improvements. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Bolus?
Council, Bob Bolus, Scranton. First off, the American flag belongs over there. When we just pledge allegiance, we pledge to the wall, we don't pledge to the flag. So if we could get that done, honor our fellow veterans. I would ask today, Mr. Smurl, if we could have a moment of silence in memory of Charlie Kirk, who was brutally murdered. We held a process for him Sunday at the county courthouse. I would ask if we could have that for just a moment, please.
Would you like me to do it next week, or?
No, I'd like to, if we could have a moment of silence right now, just in memory of him, if we
That's
may,
right.
please.
All right, if you can ask for it, absolutely, we'll do it right now.
Okay, thank you. If everyone, we could have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I knew Charlie personally. I met him on several occasions, and we had a lot of dialogue between us. And that was a tragedy, what we saw, that a member of the queer organization decided he shouldn't live because they didn't like what he had to say. And everybody has to understand, this is America under that flag. Everybody has a right to speak, everybody has a right to say what they want to say. But to take a life of an individual, as they did, is totally unacceptable. And these people have to understand. That's why I argued about the queer flags on the courthouse. We got to put them where they belong. You have something to say, that's fine. But you don't jam it down our throat and you don't murder our people because you don't like what we got to say. I just delivered $275,000 worth of disinfectant wipes to the flood victims of Texas. It was done on the Bob Wallace Towers and Truckers for America and Trump trailer, and I'm proud to have my picture and my name on my trailer. And I couldn't have been prouder to see that trailer in Florida, California, Texas, Arizona, Kentucky, Tennessee, North and South Carolina, and Georgia. My trailer was gone for 4 months, and I represented everybody here because on the trailer it says Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I'm damn proud to say I'm from Scranton. And I'm glad my trailer was able to represent all of us in one way or the other. You know, I've been coming here for a long time, and what I see going on here disturbs me. We have 2 hospitals that nobody knows what the hell they want to do with them. Find a buyer, find somebody. I want them to become employee-owned. And what we need to do is get our state representatives, our congressmen, everybody that's so-called political, off their butts and fund those 2 hospitals and make them employee-owned. They will pay taxes, but you'll have people that'll want to come to work. I was at Geisinger for a week, and I must tell you, the service and the treatment I received there was second to none. So anybody's got something to say about the hospitals and the people that take care of us, get your head out of your butt, because they do a hell of a job for each and every one of us. And I commend everybody at Geisinger for the treatment I received. But if we go employee-owned, everybody will want to come to work. We'll have a medical staff here. We have everything we need. So I'm asking Bridget, Flynn, all these other characters out here that are all political, put your money where your mouth is and fund these 2 hospitals. Stop looking for somebody to buy us, own us, and control us with some corporation. Let the people of this community serve the people in the community as owners of those 2 hospitals. And that's what I'm looking to say here. That's why I came here tonight. I've been all over the world. I've seen many things in many countries. And to see these 2 hospitals and the morale sinking because nobody knows what the heck's going to happen next, I take it on our officials, our public servants, and that's what you are, ladies and gentlemen. You are our public servants. Do what's right for the people. Make those 2 hospitals employee-owned. Thank you.
Thank you.
And appreciate allowing me to have that moment for Charlie. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Ron Ellman?
Evening, Council. I'd like to make one comment about Mr. Clerk, that I feel that these sick, demented fools are fueled daily by hate-filled letters and on computers by people like Chris Kelly, Sandra Myers, De Niro, Colbert. It's not going to stop. You're never going to stop this hatred that they have. All the vile supporters in the paper that support them prove my point. Next, there's a whole lot of stupid going on here by the fools out there that you're allowing this pathetic excuse of a mayor that is so consumed with her rebuilding downtown, she has abandoned us. Her continual rape of our taxpayers for the wealthy property owners downtown are at our expense, and grants are our tax money. Some reason they think grants can, not for everybody. These outrageous tax cheats in this city have gotten so much from us, tax breaks and abatements and everything. They haven't had many reassessment lawyers. They don't have nothing left to reassess with, like the rest of us do. I got that from somebody working for the city. You know, almost all these 100-plus buildings downtown, some of them even got the dates on the front of them. Every last one of them that these guys get a hold of are on the National Register of Historic Places, and they receive the utmost of state and federal tax credit. I don't know why some of these 100-year-old houses in town can't be fit in there. It seems like the laws of this city are meant for a few. I don't know if you people know it. Any building, any of these historic places that's on the register are not allowed to sell alcohol. 1 block from here, that beautiful home that they made into that fancy restaurant where there's 2 men, when it first opened, Rosie and me ate there. They didn't have beer or nothing. It's against the law, but not in Scranton. Not in crooked Scranton, it's allowed here. Look at your downtown, full of bars in these old 100-year-old houses, buildings. I don't know, it seems like Page is so consumed with rebuilding Main Street. I've been here since '72, and I never seen somebody riding a bicycle downtown. Yet she wants to take a lane from the automobiles on one of the most trafficked streets in the city for bicycles. That's her thinking. It's not for us. It's for a few people, like a 10th of the city? I don't know. I always call this crooked Scranton because it still stinks from the sour stench of graft and corruption, and it's nothing I can do about it. All I can ask is you don't vote for a failure. Paige Cognetti represents failure. Real quick, these electric vehicles, there's a little kid went by my house Sunday. He must have been 5 or 6. He was holding a baby, couldn't have been like 2 or so, in his lap on a little lousy bike. When he passed me, he took off as fast as that bike would go. There got to be some kind of control for these people. They don't have enough brains, and their parents don't seem to have enough brains to
Thank you, Mr. Ellman. Thank you.
do something. Thank you.
Lee Morgan?
Good evening, Council. Lee Morgan. I think the first thing I have here today is I did an interlocutory appeal to the Third Circuit over the case with ECTV, which is going to pause this case until they look at it because the Judge Bloom made some serious errors in this case, and case law doesn't support his contentions. I had to do a letter brief to him about Halleck versus Manhattan because he tried to, he was misinformed on what the Supreme Court ruled. So he's a little upset right now, but maybe he'll get over it. But I'm only a truck driver, but I think when the dust settles, I think people are going to be shocked because we're just starting through the discovery process, believe it or not. We've got a long way to go, and there's a lot of prospective litigants that are standing in front of me, not here necessarily, but. And the other thing I want to shift gears on is, you know, you don't see any buildings burning. You don't see any looting going on. It's just calm, okay? Now, it's my opinion that a civil rights leader was assassinated. Never watched one of his videos. Never watched one of Charlie Clark's videos in my life. Then the other day, they start coming through my YouTube feed, so I sat down and watched them. Now, we listen to the Democrats talk about everybody being a Nazi or Hitler or a fascist. And, you know, you see their actions, like after Trump got elected and the comedian held up a head with a severed head of Trump. Well, we just had a severed head in Texas where an illegal cut the head off a guy, even though his wife tried to save him. This is what the Democrats have given us. The Democrats created the KKK. No doubt in anybody's mind about that. Joe Biden gave the eulogy of the dragon, the grand dragon of the KKK. The Democrats on the Supreme Court decided that they were only slaves and weren't entitled to be citizens. Okay, you've got them protecting the teachers' unions as they're grooming children, okay, and talking all this stuff and trying to tell people they're born the wrong gender and they're only little children. And the educational process has absolutely collapsed in our country. Everything points to that. The teachers' unions have to be removed, and education has to return where it belongs. But getting back to Charlie Kirk, you know, I think that when history looks at him, and in the next election, I think people are going to be surprised because all he did was debate people and talk about God. Watched hours of his videos, just hours. Never said a bad thing about one person. Never condemned anybody, never belittled anybody, invited everybody into the forum of discussion. But when you listen to what the Democrats are saying, okay, Crockett, the whole bunch of them in the Congress and Senate, all talking about hunting people down, Waters, hunt all the Republicans down or anybody who doesn't agree with you, find them wherever they are, preach nothing but hate all the time. That's all the Democrats do is preach hate and division. They have nothing to offer the people. Just like here in Scranton, Democrats don't offer us anything except decline, decay, overtaxation, and a million excuses why we can't use the home rule charter to turn this city around, and having a mayor who doesn't even live in the city on the ballot. And not a Republican that's running for office will challenge her on that and hire a private detective to find out where she lives and do something about it. You have to ask yourself, okay, how did our country get this bad? How did people walk away from a system? And how long are we going to allow the Democrats to do the things they're doing to us? And it's not a personal attack, but this Charlie Kirk thing is ridiculous, and it's all driven by Democrats, every bit of it. And Republicans, I don't see them telling anybody to do anything violent to anybody.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. That's all for our sign-in sheet. Anyone else wish to address council?
Tom Coyne, Manuka. First, I guess we're going to see photos of the mayor's projects in the Times every week now until the election. It must be nice to get free political advertisement when you have the biggest war chest. First, it was the beautiful homes, then it was the new LED stop signs, and then it was the soon-to-be water project while standing next to a hole in the streets. All updates and projects to roll out just before election. Are we holding off on bidding and contracting for the NAOG Christmas lights until after the election as it made people upset? I figured we should have seen that by now. And I remember people, the mayor wants you to give her $95,000 by electing her so she can get paid while not doing the job because she'll be busy running for another political position. On to tonight's topics. Speaking of DPW projects, I'd like to thank DPW for, after 3 to 4 years of requesting, coming to Oak Avenue and building up a small 60-foot blacktop curb section. It had eroded and was causing a neighbor to deal with flooding every rainfall. A simple curb fix prevented the owner's constant issue of having to deal with a 4 foot of water that was diverted in every single rainstorm that went into their backyard, down the hill, and flooded their homes. Dr. Rothchild often complains of clogged water runoff drains in her area, that they need to be vacuum trucked to be cleaned out. Well, it's good that that's done. My section of town has not had any rainwater, wastewater pipes ever installed. I guess 60 years is not long enough to wait for city services. We have issues due to buildings that were cleared east of the neighborhood without proper water management. Last storm, there was a major flooding in a section that was repeatedly hit and reported for years. There is an issue of the city when it's paving. It does not mill down the roads, but they do a surface skim. I've seen roads with 5 layers of blacktop deep. The issue is those roads now serve as high ground, forcing the water over curbs and into driveways that were at one time above the road surface. Do our paving projects ever evaluate the slope and if the road is getting raised up too much by repeated layering? On to tonight's subjects on the board. Resolution 5C, the Steamtown Church. Why is this resolution here? Simple, because the uneven sidewalks have caused a trip and fall hazard. They claim it's to make the neighborhood safer and beautify it, but it was stated that it was done after several individuals experienced minor incidents due to the uneven sidewalks. The Steamtown Church purchased the property and is asking for public funds to be used to serve a nonprofit to fix an issue they ignored as the owners of the property. So the citizens of the state are supposed to entertain a grant for a nonprofit because they failed to maintain and fix issues on their property, leaving a known hazardous area, and they desire taxpayers to repair it. It states the new sidewalks would demonstrate the church's commitment to maintaining a safe and attractive community space, but it's not the church's commitment, it's the taxpayers' commitment to a nonprofit who shirked repair of their own property. I'd like to know when the city first received the request. I see City Council received it on 9/11, OECD did a resolution on 9/9, but nowhere, even on the church's request letter, is there an actual original date of submission for the grant. I ask this because it's noted that it's a September 30th deadline, and not shocking, we have 3 sessions before the deadline, including tonight. This precludes holding off or getting real answers. Mr. McAndrew said, you have last-minute legislation that is lacking is thrown before this board constantly. It must pass in 3 sessions. The original date requested or applied was nowhere, and I'd love to know what that is. As a matter of fact, we have 8 LSA grants introduced tonight that all have a drop-dead date of September 30th. that were all drafted on 9/11. Hummer bid submitted on August 15th for the Western Park Field. And it took 19 business days to get here at the last minute. Providence Pregnancy Center, a nonprofit, wants us to pay to pave their lots and to do their routes. The parking contractor wants us, after asking for a ton of money the last time in, must not have remembered that their elevator was broken and now wants more money on top of it to fix their garages. This has got to stop.
Thank you, Mr. Coyne.
It's got to stop.
Good evening, Scranton City Council. Mike Mancini, Scranton. Tonight we'll play a very familiar game on the question. On the question, how important is safety to each one of you? Last week I asked very specific questions pertaining to drugs and unwanted opioid-related deaths. One question was answered, one that we already knew the answer to. Lackawanna County and the state police have always collaborated when any type of crime happens in our city. City reaches out and they're there. So technically, none of my questions were answered last week. I would recommend that each one of you get a piece of paper, something to write with, because I do not ask questions just for me. I ask them for others because they need the same answers. Council owes it to everyone to answer those questions when asked because it's a basic requirement. To be disrespectful to a speaker without answering shows who you really are, just another cricket. City of Scranton cannot afford another minute of this council's ineffectiveness when it comes to just about anything. On the question, what does each of you think about the shortages of Scranton police officers? In March 2024, Scranton Police Department had 147 full-time officers and 20 non-sworn civilian personnel. I attribute the shortage of over 30 officers to switching to the police testing from the same used by the state police to national testing network. Most cities that use this test go down to a 55 score. Scranton uses 70. In April of 2024, 130 took this new test with over 100 not passing. That test ended up providing our amazing Scranton Police Department with only 4 officers. I attribute the shortage to the change in testing. Not one of you asked any questions about why we are short officers. Well, that's the answer, the change in testing. Something that also changed was the removal of the narcotics unit. At one time, we had 13 officers which were specific to drug activity. Since the mayor changed the police department, now we only have 5. On the question, how important are unwanted opioid-related deaths to each of you? We have 5 officers that work extremely hard and need help. Politics and policing do not mix. Only 2% of unwanted opioid-related deaths end up getting prosecuted. Here in Scranton, we have 0. We have a mayor who has created this climate. She even has an extra set of doors locked in the city of Scranton. Safety of our citizens here in Scranton should be the top priority. We continue to lose our city daily to those who sell drugs and guns, putting our finest in danger because of the shortage that the mayor and the city council have created. When council does not ask questions nor utilizes caucus to get them, you also contribute to our problems daily. We have over 300 gang members active in our Scranton School District. It was not to this extent 5 years ago. We need change across the board. We deserve character. We desire those who pay attention, look for the problems before they begin with solutions. I know what it looks like, it feels like to lose someone due to the opioid crisis. My only child. I'll get justice and closure. Locally, we do not have that. Not answering questions means you condone these problems, embracing them as if they were your own. So, on the question, do you think What do you think contributed to the police shortage? Is it alarming that only 5 officers are dedicated to drug activity? How many convictions since January 1st of 2020 for opioid-related deaths? How important is the safety of our citizens and our finest? To the good people of Scranton, on the question, do you deserve better? To a Scranton Police Department, thank you. Good evening, Council.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Marie Schumacher. I had a problem, and I don't know, maybe my fingers were sick, but I had something happen at my house, and I have somebody I can call, and when I tried to call it, I couldn't get through, so I went to the police, which I called at 348-4130, which I got off the computer. And nobody answered that either. So I don't know if that's wrong or if the numbers that's on the computer are wrong. I don't know. I would also like to know, when will the West Locust Bridge, the one between South Scranton and West Side, when will that bridge be usable again? It's been a very long time, and at least to me.
Yes, I don't know a completion date.
Pardon?
I don't know when it's going to be usable.
Well, also, there's another between at Waldorf Lane and Sky, those two, there's a section that has 6 of the city's horses, you know, the wooden ones.
Yes.
And as far as I can tell, nothing's been done there. But now you have to go out into the other lane when you're going down the hill.
Yes, I was told that that should be done within a week. I asked about it yesterday.
Good. Can't happen too soon. But I think, why can't that be on the computer? I mean, when there are traffic sections that are having something done, I think everybody would like to be able to go on the computer and find out when they, you know, what they're doing and when it's going to end. So I think that would be nice. Cannot read my own writing here. I don't know, I'll have to keep that one for next week because I can't read my own writing.
Will you just tell me that number you dialed again, 34841?
Oh, sure. 348-4130.
Okay. Yeah, the only one I know is 3484141, and then 911 naturally.
Oh.
I don't know about 30. I don't know if anybody else knows that. I don't know.
Okay, well, I don't know, but I...
All right, Mr. Voldenberg, will you check, see if that is online on that we're giving that number out, 4130?
I will, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Virgil Argenta, Scranton. to clear up the East Mountain. I posted that a couple weeks. I spoke to their director yesterday, and he said East Mountain is out for bid, and he wants to get it fixed, but call-offs within the DPW and a project manager who is calling the shots continue to have this project on standby. So that's the reason. Has nothing to do except with DPW guys calling off and the project manager having it on standby. I've reported that for 2 weeks, and I took videos, and I also took pictures. Another thing you may want to address, that we're blaming the city and the council, and I'll take responsibility for that you're not doing your job. Most of these sewer drains are the Pennsylvania American Water Company, and Pennsylvania American Water Company is failing to work with the city. So someone in the city administration needs to get tougher and go after American Water Company so that we do not blame the city officials, council, or the mayor. And I'll take responsibility for that because I blame council, the mayor, and yourselves, and it's not. It's the working of American Water Company. So if you want to have somebody be a point person and put the pressure on them, because we do deserve better. Thank you, Mr. Smurl.
Thank you, Mr. Argenta. Anyone else?
Good evening, Council. Dave Dobson. I missed last week due to somebody with an overpowered impact. And I couldn't get my own car apart, and other parts broke, and lots more. Watch those impacts when you go to a mechanic shop. They're over-torquing. Anyhow, hopefully on the 500 block, which was an interest of mine, there will be no stop lamp takeaways. Hopefully we can have a bike lane. I don't favor bike lanes downtown, and that's all there is to it. I just don't favor them. It's confusing enough down there. People get killed. I stood on that island with the pizza and people zooming by me, and I was glad for it. So if they're going to change it, they're going to change it. But I will remind the speakers that come up here that that was a Republican idea. And let's get to reassess. I own a lot adjacent to my house. I just bought it because Missy can putter around in it. She's not pesting me when I'm in the house or whatever. And it's not too bad. We're married a long, long time, longer than some people are alive up there. And anyway, they reassessed it at, I bought it for $3,100. They reassessed it at $32,200. And I certainly hope that I don't get one heck of a bill, because I can't afford it. It's above my head. And it's not constructible. So that's what my argument is. I had an appeal down there, and I got rejected, and I might try to go to court, but it's like, well, we don't see it that way, so that's not right. As far as police, people with good personality traits should be given help in passing, but they must pass, no curves. I've seen it in technical school where there's big curves. And the next thing you know, a guy or two gets loose or whatever. Well, I was a guy course type person, and makes a name for the school. And yeah, well, then everybody gets that name and title. And I've been watching this AI. I don't know what we need all this computing for. I mean, do they want to know whether I have pimples on my back or what? But anyway, mine water could be used for cooling and heating. It's 45 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Electrical, I don't have an answer for yet, but geothermal would be the answer to that. Don't drive my water bill out through the ceiling, please. I don't need to see water going down the sewer that's fresh. It's very expensive nowadays, as you may have noticed. Now, all week I've been hearing radical left lunatics. When Frank Pelosi got struck on the head with the hammer, he was potentially a gay lover. Other situations, Unite the Right, somebody hit a lady with a car, killed her. We had January 6th, and when our FBI director, Patel, got news of this, he said, "We will see you in Valhalla." Well, Valhalla was a pagan heaven for Vikings that died in battle. You had to die in battle. You had to die from a sword or an axe or something else. So who has the wrong mind plot here? Thank you and have a good night.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Rick Little, still running for mayor of Scranton. Went to the library today, picked up the city budget. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me to spend $2.5 million on the Biden streetscape, considering everything else that's going on. I'd like to just say that we came very close to losing our whole country. Things are moving around, and we are all Charlie Kirk. All he did was communicate with people. No inequality, none of the stuff that the whole globalist network pushes. When it comes to politics, especially at the municipal and county level, I mean, I come from Illinois, which has more municipalities than any other thing, but I'm looking at these home rule charters. I mean, when they were passed, it goes back to a court case called the Dillon Act, because the judge was named Dillon, and it was something like Clinton versus railroads. That's what made it legal to have a home rule charter, which we have in Lackawanna County, and it's just gone through the machinations of the judicial branch, and that is the big problem. If you can't see that the big problem in our government, it's just like Thomas Jefferson said in 1802, like thieves in the night with case law, we're going to lose our republic through this, and he was right. And all the prosecutions of Trump and all these people goes on in the media. We have to get a handle on that sort of thing around here. I'm reading in the budget, about, shall be, if any section of this clause or ordinance shall be held invalid or unconstitutional by a court of common jurisdiction, it shall not affect anything else. Well, I certainly went through the ringer. They made me homeless at Scranton Housing Authority, and they plug people in. They plug the managers in, and these managers are on the speed dial of the judges. So when I talk to the judge, it's like, oh, you know, I'm going to call them up. We know them. And I even met with the mayor, and she confirmed that. Yeah, they're all on the speed dial. This is a lot of property. And, you know, I saw right away when I moved in there that it was a criminal racket going on. Fires every single week. And they have to get the fire chief to sign off for the Harry Insurance Company. And you call the police, and the police say, see the manager. And so I fought it for 5 years. And, you know, these judges and magistrates, these are part of the government. And that's the problem in Pennsylvania. There's 3 judges running. Nobody vote for those judges, because that, you know, just as in the whole federal sphere, it's very much real in the Pennsylvania sphere, because these people run, and you don't know what they are. Not that it means anything, Democrat, Republican, but it's basically this town is a Democrat-run thing, and people are going crazy now. You know, misconstruing. They aren't educated about the Constitution, freedom of speech, and we have to make this place better. There has to be leadership. Leadership. We need a DPW in this city.
Thank you.
That has pride and works.
Anyone else?
Fifth order, 5A motions.
I will do Mr. King's motions at the end. Mr. Schuster, do you have any motions or comments?
Yes, I have a few. We had the Scranton Redevelopment Authority director in the other day. I did ask about their annual budgets and if they had any audited financial statements. She said she would provide them. Did she send any of that over to council?
Not as yet. She is preparing them.
Okay, thank you very much. If we could just follow up on those.
I will.
Thank you. I sent in the 1000 block of Cottage Ave a little while ago. There was an update on it, but I didn't receive it. I believe Mr. Smurl got an update on Cottage Ave.
On one of the structures there, yeah, people were getting in at night, and I believe they're taking the plywood off the front door and going in, and then in the morning when they left, they were just pushing the plywood back. So I did send it down. They said they would go and board it up properly.
Gotcha. And that one's on the condemn list, but not on the demo list, correct, Mr. Voldenberg?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. I got a call today about South Sumner, the water main, the lateral connectors there, where the road has been cut, it's starting to sink. Is it possible that we can get an update on when South Sumner will be milled and paved, if we don't have that already?
I will.
All right, thank you very much. If that's not going to be done before the winter, which I hope it is, we do have to get them to go out and fill that so it's drivable.
I'm not sure if it's on the 2025 paving list, but I'll double check.
All right, thank you very much. I also got a call about the intersection of Pittston and Pear. I sent over some photographs today. There's large holes on the curbs on the road, which makes it difficult to park in that area. So if we could have them go check that area.
That was sent and received by 311.
Yep, thank you very much. We also received an email about 2501 Boulevard Ave. I know everybody on council got it. It was a message from Mr. Romantics. Going back quite some time, I got Mr. Romantics in contact with Tom Riley, the city engineer, as well as Morgan Fetzok. So the two of them are really aware of the situation that's been going on there for quite some time. Do we know if anyone from the city administration has reached out to him at this point?
I sent that to the administration to revisit it, and I spoke with Mr. Romantics this morning. He gave me an update.
Okay. Can we just make sure that someone, whether it be Morgan or whether it be a city engineer, gives him a call and make sure that they call and talk with him?
I will, and we're including the water company also.
All right, thank you very much. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Dr. Rothchild, do you have motions or comments?
Yes, I have a few. Thank you. I was asked again to bring up the crosswalks on Harrison Avenue that have not been repainted yet, so if we could get in contact with them again. I previously have spoken with RBA about it, so I'm not sure what the status is. I know that the city has done them in the past, even though it's a state road, so I don't know if they're trying to get the state to do them instead, but if we could
I will. I'll
confirm.
get a status for you.
Thank you. And there's a property I brought up quite a few times in the past, and neighbors were asking about it again to see what was going on with it. It's 621 Rear Alder Street. So I know in the past they tried taking people to the magistrate regarding that property. Not clear on what's happened since, but it's still a vacant blighted property that's not being used.
I believe that was on the demo list. I'll follow up on its
I
status.
thought so too, but nothing has happened with it.
In a
so-
while, I agree.
Okay, thank you. And over in Naog Park, there are the two playgrounds now. There's the newer Butterfly Playground, and then there's still an older structure that's there. And I know that it's in need of mulch, and I discussed this with Councilman Smurl, who said that there was an issue with being able to get the rubber mulch up to that section of the park because of the other ongoing construction. But there are quite a lot of weeds around the swings and the areas that children are playing. And I was up there over the weekend, and it was quite busy. It still gets a lot of use by children, but it is the equipment is in poor shape. There was a piece of wood missing from part of it that I'm afraid a child could fall through. So I can forward along photos of some of the repairs and cleanup that's needed there.
And I'll notify Parks and Rec.
Thank you. And we're still having beautiful weather, so I mean our parks are still being utilized a lot. We still have some time to do that. And just to provide an update on a complaint I received about Caphouse Avenue, an old broken, I don't know if it was a telephone pole that needed to be removed, and I was told that DPW is addressing it for removal, but I haven't gotten confirmation as to if it has been removed yet. So perhaps we can check on the status of that. That's been
I will. I'll
completed.
speak with the acting director.
Thank you. And I had also asked about updates from American Water regarding their projects and when pavings and full restoration would take place. And Mr. Osolinsky replied very quickly with an updated list with I think about 29 different projects and approximations of when they should be complete. And it looks like all of them should be by October. So fingers crossed that all happens. I just wanted to respond to something that Mr. Mancini was asking about. He had some questions, and I appreciate the passion that he has for addressing drug-related crime within the city and the opioid crisis. And I am sorry for the loss that you've had, and I hope that you've gotten justice for your son and that you find peace. But I know I've been connected a lot in the past to different recovery organizations and gone on tours and participated in events around, even though I'm not someone in recovery, but I just know a lot of people in that community, and so I do believe it's important for it to be addressed, and I do believe that our police department is doing that. I understand the concerns with the staffing shortage, and I don't think we can attribute that to to any particular thing or like the changes in the exam. I don't think correlation equals causation. I know that Chief Gerald has been in here in the past and has talked about the struggles that they have had with staffing and some of the reason behind that. And I think it being a larger trend that we're seeing across the country of having difficulty finding officers. And so I think some of these changes they're trying to make are to get more officers. I mean, we can certainly ask for, more clarification if there are any other barriers that they feel like they're having that we can help so that we are a fully staffed police department. But I know things like that. What's on for the legislation tonight is to help that situation. So that's all I have to say on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rothchild. Mr. McAndrew, motions or comments?
Thank you. A few. So, a blighted property on 711 West Elm Street has been brought to my attention. Neighbors are telling me that the resident is always throwing garbage in the backyard and is which is attracting skunks and possums and other animals. I guess there's also a washer and dryer that is in the yard. A refrigerator is sitting on the back porch. It's been for a few weeks now. I think I forwarded the pictures to you earlier. And I guess he's having a problem with the neighbors. He's always screaming at the neighbor's dog. So if you could just please pass that on to the proper departments to take a look at.
I did. That was sent this morning upon receipt of your email.
Okay, thank you. Also, I know I brought this up before, but the property behind Burger King on Meridian Avenue across from the dollar store is extremely overgrown. It got worse. A resident has to drive by there all the time, says he can't go down the road to check if there's another car coming. It's becoming a public safety issue. So he's concerned about that, and so am I, because I know the area. Then the 900 block of Brook Street, where it kind of meets this log road in the crossroads, it leads down to where the train track is for the trolley. It runs over there. There's a substantial amount of growth there that even cars driving by are scratching. They're scratching their cars, and the neighbors used to actually take it upon themselves and cut it back, but it's just too much for them anymore. So if you can alert code enforcement with that. Also, I mean, I brought this up more than once. This is a crosswalk. I mean, they're everywhere now. You can't walk anywhere when I was walking over a crosswalk. So, and that's great, but I still think the schools should be the biggest focus. And I know I brought this issue up in the past. So it's the update on the 1739 Dixon Avenue, Lincoln Jackson Academy crosswalk. So if we could please get an update on that. I know there was a little a pause because of this, the engineering, city engineer and what have you, and there's a conversation with PennDOT, but it's the fourth week into school. And like I said, there's crosswalks everywhere. I think this is a priority, so I'd like to know what happened, if we could please be updated with that.
I will, sir.
Speaking of storm drains, like everybody does every week, and I realize that, we've asked this before, and we've asked the city to please identify which ones are ours and which ones are American Water. I don't think we ever got a true list who owns whom's, but whatever. When I do see horses just put around them, sometimes that just says Scranton, sometimes it says DPW. I want to know for sure, first of all, how long are the horses, they're put there with an intent to come back and fix it, right? But my question is, every collapsed storm drain or hole I see around a storm drain in the city with horses in front of it or barricading it, are they all ours? Or are they barricading these storm drains that are owned by American Water and waiting for them to come and fulfill their responsibility? I just need that clarification.
I'll ask those questions.
Like I said, in addition to, okay, when one's identified that it's collapsed, I mean, I don't want to hear that we're waiting to fix all these with the stormwater project, because that's not the answer I want to hear. I just want to know how long is it, when it's identified, What's the timeline? Okay, we take a look at it, when do we fix it? All right, and if we identify it's not ours, well then, are we putting up horses and protecting American waters damaged? Not protecting it, but, you know, just putting a Band-Aid on it when American Water should be fixing it. If you can just clarify all that for me, because it's
I will.
It's
And
getting more and more visual throughout the city.
And we're still waiting on the water company basin list. I'll follow up on that
All right,
also.
well, okay, but we need to hear from them. So I also inquired last week over the piece of legislation if I was missing something. If I was missing in the legislation, it was a lot of money, regarding Lackawanna Avenue, all right, the bike lanes and what have you. And I asked a question, I said, okay, if it's not in this legislation, is there legislation coming down based on the walkability study that, you know, it was, you know, a lot of residents didn't have the opportunity to meet. I think there was only one meeting and voice their concerns and issues. That is there legislation coming down to remove the stoplights and replace them with signs, stop signs? I don't agree with it, so I am reporting out what the response I got is. That doesn't mean I like it or an agreement. It says technical specifications for the legislation are currently being completed by the project engineers. Once completed, it will be sent to council. So I take that as they already decided, all right? They pretty much made a decision after one meeting, not really, because I hear a lot about it all the time. Mark, you can't change street lights for stop signs, not downtown. I mean, that's absurd, especially on Lackawanna Avenue. So I got my answer, so I'm going to wait for this legislation. I can't wait for it. I know I'm not in favor of it. I'm just letting you know it's coming. And I was wondering when it was coming, and I was right. It is coming. Also, last week I inquired about maybe a different strategy for you know, the ATV situation. That it's gotten worse. It's never gotten better. I know that we had an ordinance. I know we tightened it up a little bit, but it's not working. So I did ask last week if there's anything in the works, or if there's a new strategy, or at least we can have a dialogue with the administration, including electric bikes that are seen to be everywhere. You know, we need to enforce this, especially electric bikes. There's kids like Mr. Melvin says, it's horrible. I see them on the same main avenue that he does. All right, so they never responded, right?
That is forthcoming. They advise us today they'll have the answer next week.
All right. In addition to my inquiry about, you know, what's the strategy for all these cars that are parked on sidewalks and in yards, all right, that are very visible throughout the city now.
Same, they're all police department questions.
All right, well, thank you. Well, then I look forward to them answers next week. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. This is a response from Mr. King, Councilman King, from, I believe it was from the chief, that he had asked questions on legislation. It is for entry-level officers only. And number 2 is must have completed Act 120 certification. Officers from outside Pennsylvania would need to complete all of the sections of Act 120. And the 3rd is higher rank transfers would be paid with experience. The 4th is budgeted is 152 officers for 2025. The total includes 97 regular patrol officers, so the total Scranton Police Department is 172 with everyone. The department is approximately 8 to 10 officers short at this time. And factors affecting shortage of officers includes retirements, workers' comp, and other injuries or illnesses. So thank you, Mr. King. That is it, Mr. Voldenberg.
5B for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Scranton Fire Department to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $120,000 to be used towards 3 new generators and 2 new boilers.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5B be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
5C for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Steamtown Church to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $78,000 to be used towards the Steamtown Church sidewalk project.
This time, I entertain a motion that item 5C be introduced into its proper committee.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
5D for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Weston Park Baseball to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $52,370 to be used towards the Weston Park Baseball Field renovation project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5D be introduced into its proper committee.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
5E for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Scranton Cultural Center to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $96,416 to be used towards the Scranton Cultural Center facility upgrades project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5E be introduced into its proper committee.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
5F for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Providence Pregnancy Center to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $42,840 to be used towards the paving of 17,700 square feet of blacktop parking areas and driveway project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5F be introduced into its proper committee.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
5G for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the Community Development Properties Scranton, Inc., doing business as CDPS, to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $153,300 to be used towards the repair of a non-operating elevator project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5G be introduced into its proper committee.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
5H for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of the city of Scranton to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $72,900 to be used towards the Davis Street pedestrian crossing project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5H be introduced into its proper committee.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
I make a motion to amend item 5H as follows. In the summary title, change the amount from $72,900 to $150,000. Also in the summary title, after Davis Street pedestrian crossing project, add as well as traffic control safety measures in the areas of Luzerne Street and Greenridge Street. In the first whereas clause, after Davis Street pedestrian crossing project, add and the traffic safety measures in the areas of Luzerne Street and Greenridge Street. Add an S to the word project in parentheses. After Davis Street, add and areas of Luzerne Street and Greenridge Street. In the second whereas clause after Collery Avenue, add, and for the installation of beacons and other necessary traffic safety measures in the areas of Luzerne Street and Greenridge Street. In the fourth whereas clause, change $72,900 to $150,000.
So moved.
Second,
On the question.
we need another.
Second.
Oh,
Thanks.
second, I'm sorry. On the question? All those in favor of amending item 5H signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and so moved.
5I for introduction, a resolution authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and submit a grant application on behalf of Valley in Motion to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Commonwealth Financing Authority for a local share account Monroe grant pursuant to the PA Racehorse Development and Gaming Act for up to $105,000 to be used towards the bike lane project.
At this time, I entertain a motion that item 5I be introduced into its proper committee.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? All those in favor of introduction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
Sixth order, 6A, reading by title, filed to council number 94, 2025, an ordinance amending chapter 379 of City Code, secondhand goods and dealers, to explicitly authorize requiring electronic submission of information and to update other licensing and enforcement provisions.
You have heard reading by title of item 6A. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6A pass reading by title.
Second.
On the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, so moved.
6B, reading by title, filed to council number 95, 2025, an ordinance authorizing entry-level employment in the police department without competition under certain conditions affecting public safety.
You have heard reading by title of item 6B. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 6B pass reading by title.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, as it was on the Civil Service Commission agenda for September, if we could just reach out to their solicitor and get their opinions on that. With this ordinance, it does appear that the individuals that would be hired would have civil service and Act 120 already established, so it doesn't seem to be an issue, but I'd love to hear what they had to say.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. All those in favor?
Wait, I have
sorry.
something to say, too. So, I looked at this last week, I looked at this week. I think this is a nice tool for lateral moves. And, you know, with no offense, but we're not hiring mall cops here, and no offense to them. The movie was pretty funny, but, you know, this is after the resident requirements was removed. This gives opportunity to people that don't have to move in the city that maybe want to work for the police department, that already have the training needed and experience. This reminds me of say, hey, I don't think there's anything to see here. This reminds me of saying, hey, I want to go and apply at a different vocational school, and as a lateral move, all I got to do under the Pennsylvania Department of Education is just bring my cert with me, my clearances, and I'll be vetted out like anybody else. But it's not like I'm going to try to get a job to teach welding. That would make sense. So it's a lateral move with the proper experience, the proper training. I think this is a fiscally responsible alternative instead of, it's definitely less expensive. It makes sense to me. And also, everybody keeps talking about, what about our staffing numbers? This is, I think, it's also a way to increase them that we need to do. This is another option. I don't see anything wrong with this process. Now that it's, now that it was kind of done, when we had the resident requirement, now it's a formalized, transparent process that's in form of in an ordinance. So I'm definitely supporting this.
Thank you, Mr. McAndrew. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, and so moved.
Seventh order, 7A, for consideration by the Committee on Finance for adoption, filed to Council number 92, 2025, transferring funds from inactive special city accounts and capital project fund accounts to the city's general fund and capital reserve fund, and closing and abolishing such accounts.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Finance?
As chairperson of the Committee on Finance, I recommend final passage of item 7A.
Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, hereby declare item 7A legally and lawfully adopted.
7B, for consideration by the Committee on Rules for adoption, filed to Council number 93, 2025, authorizing the conveyance of 110 West Market Street parcel as noted to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Scranton.
As chairperson for the Committee on Rules, I recommend final passage of item 7B.
Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7B legally, lawfully adopted.
7C, for consideration by the Committee on Public Safety for adoption, resolution number 250, 2025, accepting a donation presented to the City of Scranton Fire Department from Divine Mercy Parish in the amount of $100.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Public Safety?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Safety, I recommend final passage of item 7C.
Second.
Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7C legally, lawfully adopted.
7D, for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, resolution number 251, 2025, approving the grant application by the Office of Economic and Community Development of the City of Scranton to the Department of Community and Economic Development's Main Street Matters Grant Program for up to $1 million to be used towards the Slocum Hollow Properties LLC project.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7D.
Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7D legally, lawfully adopted.
7E, for consideration by the Committee on Public Works for adoption, resolution number 252, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to execute and enter into a contract with Titan Tree Services, Inc. to perform professional tree services for the city of Scranton.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Public Works?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Works, I recommend final passage of item 7E.
Second.
On the question?
So on the question, we talked about the definition of emergency services here. It was stated that DPW is going to assess the situation first, and they're going to decide whether tree removals are beyond their ability. And at that point, we would go into this company completing the tree cuttings, correct?
I agree. That would be the right procedure.
Okay. This contract is only a year long, correct, Mr. Gilbride?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and if it had to be renewed, it has to come back before council for renewal?
Or they don't have to pass another contract.
Okay, thank you.
Also on the question, in addition to this, so I've talked about this in caucus. I kind of remember some legislation late spring, early summer about a program to aid some elderly residents that can't afford to take down a tree in their yard. Not the one that's, the Shade Commission is responsible for, not the one that's on a neighbor's yard, all right? So I briefly remember it. I want to know if this program would be intertwined with this maybe, utilizing these services or the services of DPW. But could you just find out for me, Mr. Voldenberg, where are we at with that program per se that was introduced, and has any residents benefited from it? And also, what is the actual process? Is there a form on the website that I really didn't take a look at to see if there is, but just to see what the process is, because it was budgeted, there was money put aside for it, so let's see if it was utilized or if we can get it out there, because I always hear, being out there that, there's some residents, they can't afford this, and taking down a big tree in their yard, and the neighbors complain about it because it's growing over another property. I mean, this might be a resolve for someone that really can't afford it. I just want to know, maybe that was the reason for this legislation, but I just want to know if it was utilized at all this summer.
I'll ask tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
With that also being said, we said when it comes to private property, a tree would only be cut if the tree was a tree on private property would only be cut if it's a danger to others other than the property owner, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Can we?
I'll check further.
Okay, if you could check for me, please. Currently, our tree cutter is, the individual has bid out of this position, correct? From what we're hearing?
Yes, there is no tree.
Okay.
Right.
Can we find out, I've been told that there's possibly 2 different job descriptions. If we could take a look at, get a copy of those 2 different job descriptions, see if there's, if they've been both mutually agreed upon, or if there's been some updates that have occurred unilaterally when it comes to the tree cutter position.
I will, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7E legally and lawfully adopted.
7F for consideration by the Committee on Community Development for adoption, Resolution Number 253, 2025, authorizing the mayor and other appropriate city officials to approve the execution and submission of the grant reimbursement agreement by the Office of Economic and Community Development of the City of Scranton to the Department of Community and Economic Development's Main Street Matters Grant Program for up to $333,576 to be used towards the Sweeney's Beach Scope Project.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Community Development?
As chairperson for the Committee on Community Development, I recommend final passage of item 7F.
Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7F legally and lawfully adopted.
7G for consideration by the Committee on Public Works for adoption, Resolution Number 254, 2025, authorizing the acquisition of 5 Kaiser Valley properties intended for stormwater management improvements.
What is the recommendation of the chairperson for the Committee on Public Works?
As chairperson for the Committee on Public Works, I recommend final passage of item 7G.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, as I said last week, I'm happy to see these stormwater projects moving forward. Obviously, much needed in Kaiser Valley. Again, glad to see them moving forward. An update that I gave last week is invitations to bid went out on September 4th for 2 different projects. One was the Fawnwood Phase 1 stormwater project. That bid closes on 9/23. And the second project that was went out as an invitation to bid was the stormwater conveyance system on Dewey and Merrifield Ave. So those are 2 projects that are going to start moving forward as bids are coming in for the start of that work.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Roll call, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Schuster?
Yes.
Dr. Rothchild?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mr. Smurl?
Yes, I hereby declare item 7G legally and lawfully adopted.
8th Order 8A, filed to Council Number 91, 2025.
This ordinance is the 2026 capital budget, and it has been taken from the table until a public hearing can be held next Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. Before we adjourn, I'd like to thank again Mr. McAndrew and all of his students. They once again provided lunch for all our first responders, all our police department, fire department. I was unable to make it this year, but last year it was really a great event, and it was great to see this appreciation to our first responders. So thank you.
They did a great job, as always.
If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.